Hey, what's up you guys? Today we're going to talk about The Eye of the World, which is book one in the Wheel of Time series by Robert Jordan. This is the first of the kind of classic, huge, epic fantasy series which I have read. I haven't read Lord of the Rings yet, which I feel like is kind of unusual for people to read The Wheel of Time before Lord of the Rings, but that's why I'm doing it. I really enjoyed this, so I'm going to try and give a little short summary, which is going to be very difficult. And I'm going to talk about the writing, the characters, and then we're going to do like a spoiler story section where I just talk about things that stood out for me from the first book. So if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, please subscribe, and let's get started talking about The Eye of the World. In the prologue, we learn that in this world, the Wheel of Time spins and a certain story always repeats itself. There's always a dragon who battles against the Dark One, and their battle causes kind of the end of time, and then the wheel starts again and repeats itself. So this book starts off with three young farm boys, Perrin, Mat, and Rand, and they are being hunted by the Dark One, and we are not completely sure why at first. And them and a cast of other characters, including a mentor who is an Aes Sedai, which is a magic user. Her name is Moraine. They travel to the Eye of the World to kind of stop the Dark One in his tracks before he gets too strong. So that's kind of as much as I can summarize by putting it simply. This is an 800-page almost book, so there's a lot in it. There's a lot that goes on, and that is kind of the start off point. This is a 14-book series as well, so you know we're not even scratching the surface in this world in this book. With the writing, it was very descriptive, very detailed, and very atmospheric. I really enjoyed it. I never thought it dragged at any point. I could imagine the cities and the locations perfectly. Every city seemed really unique to me. Robert Jordan went into a lot of description, which I know some people might not completely like, but I never thought it was boring. I thought it always made sense. It made the world seem so real. And like I said, every single city and location, they all had their own quirks, their own stories. The people acted differently. Like everywhere was just very, very unique, which was very well done in my opinion. The pacing as well, I really enjoyed the pacing. So there was very equal amounts of downtime and action, and I feel like some people would prefer there to be more action, but I never thought the downtime was bad or boring at any points, which I think it easily could have been, but I thought it was done really well. The downtime spent a lot of time in the characters and like getting to know them and their relationships, and I'm going to talk about that in the next section, but I really enjoyed all of it. I never thought it dragged at any point. The magic system isn't explained very much in this first book, and I actually really like that because I have read Mistborn, and one issue with that, I love the Mistborn series, but Sanderson enjoys his info dumps. So the magic system in Mistborn is like completely like just laid out for you, like here's the rules, here's what it does, this does this, this does that. And here in the Wheel of Time, in the first book at least, it's not very explained. You don't really know any rules or anything, but I think that's interesting, and I'm looking forward to kind of exploring it gradually and learning things gradually rather than having an info dump pushed on us, which I think a lot of fantasy authors take because it's the easier route, but I prefer this kind of like slower, just more chill approach to the magic system. There is a big cast of characters in this book, but I never thought it was overwhelming, which is a complaint I know that some people have, and I don't know if it's maybe just because this is the first book and the cast is only going to grow bigger and bigger as it goes on, but I never felt overwhelmed by all the characters. I thought everyone was very unique, everyone made sense, their relationships to each other made sense, and we explored it all really well. So I thought that was completely fine. The characters I cared most about were Rand and Mat. Mat started off annoying and childish, but he really grew on me, even though he made a lot of mistakes and messed up a lot of times, and he was very cowardly at times, but I thought that this was more realistic in a sense, and his reactions and responses to things, they all made sense, especially later on you find out some things, and it just explains everything so well, and I really enjoyed his character. Rand as well, who is like the main character, he is just really interesting. I really liked how he was just a simple farm boy, and he didn't want to be on this adventure, but he was pushed out into it, and he made the most of it, and I just really enjoyed that. I loved all the friendships. The Eamondfield characters, I think that's how you say it, they all genuinely care for each other. You could tell that they grew up together, they were actually friends, especially Rand and Mat. You spend a lot of time with just Rand and Mat together, and their friendship is really cool. They really care about each other, they look out for each other, they have each other's backs. When they're ill, they keep each other like up, they motivate each other, and I just really enjoyed that. I think really good friendships are so important, and especially in fantasy books, it's just really nice to see these boys and the further cast of characters as well. They all really do care about each other, especially all the ones that grew up together. I liked Moiraine, so she is the Aes Sedai, and she is obviously the wisest and the most skilled, and in some ways could do everything, but there was times where she showed genuine weakness and vulnerability, and I really liked that as well. Even though she at first seems to be the wisest and, well, she is, but the most powerful, what she is, she still has her faults, she still has her flaws, and I thought it was really well done. I really liked her character. And the only relationship I kind of didn't like is there is one, so there's two romantic relationships that kind of blossom in this, and one of them is done okay, and it's two characters that grew up together. One of them comes completely out of left field, and I did not like that. I thought it was unnecessary, and I don't know, I'm looking forward to seeing how that grows in later books, but that was the only point, or the only character moment that wasn't very well done. I'm going to talk about the story now, and it's kind of impossible to do this without going into spoiler territory. So if you want to read The Eye of the World and not know any spoilers, thank you for watching. Please leave a like, please subscribe. And if not, then I'm going to give like a little countdown for people to leave. Okay, so I sometimes think that large groups of characters traveling together doesn't always work, because the author sometimes forgets about certain characters, others are obviously the main focus, and then there's just background characters, and it's like, why are they even there? This happens really badly in Mockingjay, the third Hunger Games book. There's a section where they're underground, and some characters don't speak for like 20 pages, and it's like, why are they even there? You know, but I thought this was done really well. Every character got an equal amount of time and exploration into who they are, and no one was ever left out. So I thought that was done really well. When Nynaeve joined them, once they'd already set out, again, I was thinking, we already have like so many characters. Does she really need to be here? What's her like purpose? But I ended up not being an issue. I really liked her character, and she settled into the group well and brought like an extra dynamic. So she definitely was a useful character in that sense. When they all split up, some parts I was worried were going to be more boring than others. I think this is always an issue when there's like split perspectives in a book, but they were all very equally entertaining. I was never bored by any characters' points of views. Everyone had a very unique journey they were on, the three different groups. Everyone's journey was very unique, so I thought it was very well written, and I was never bored at any like point. Rand and Mat definitely got a lot more time spent on their story and their journey, but obviously Rand is the main character, so this makes sense. When Rand got sick around page 500, I was genuinely worried for him, so that shows just how well written he is, and how much I actually care about his character already. Even though this is only book one, I was really into Rand and Mat, like I said, their friendship and just them as characters, and I was really actually worried for them. When everyone was finally reunited, I was so happy. It was just such a good moment because they've been building up to it for so long. They spend a lot of time apart, so when they finally do all get together again, and they're all genuinely so happy to see each other, especially after thinking that each other was dead, or, you know, no one knew what was going on. It was just a really nice moment. My only criticism is that, like I said, you spend a lot more time with Rand and Mat than anyone else, and at times their part of the story got a little formulaic and a little repetitive. I didn't actually really care, but I know that when I was reading it, I was like, I can tell that other people would care about this and think it was boring, because they'd go to an inn, something would happen, they'd have to escape, they'd travel, and then repeat. And it happened quite a lot of times. They went to so many different inns, and I was like, I enjoyed it, but I could really tell that other people would probably have an issue with this and probably think it was kind of boring. I really liked the Green Man. I hope that he comes back somehow in the future, because I really liked his character, and he died so quickly, which was sad. The ending confused me, and I definitely think if I reread it, especially after reading more of the books in the future, it'll make a lot more sense. But as a first time reader, the ending, I was lost a little bit. I don't understand how he got to Baalzermon. I hope I'm saying that right. I don't understand how he got there. because they were in the green garden area, and then he was like inside the old dragon's body, like through memories or something. I genuinely didn't understand it, and I'm too scared to Google anything because I know that if you Google absolutely anything about the Wheel of Time, there'll be huge spoilers, so I'm just not doing that. That's why I've not even looked up like pronunciations, because I just don't want to go into that. But I was definitely a little bit lost in this whole section, but I know that it probably makes more sense if you go back after reading future books. If you go back, it'll probably make more sense retrospectively. Overall though, I really liked how the ending was very fulfilling. You could actually read this as a standalone. There wasn't much of a cliffhanger, but it ended very like complete, and I really enjoyed it. I thought it was very well written, and the ending, you know, it was just fulfilling. That's the only word I can really use, is fulfilling and satisfying, and it ended just like pretty perfectly. It was just that final battle sequence didn't really make too much sense to a first time reader. I'm really looking forward to continuing the series. I'm going to set out and read at least one book a month, but preferably two. It took me about 6 days to read the first book, which was just under 800 pages, so it's definitely doable to read at least two a month, I would say. I don't want it to be the only thing I read, which is why I'm like trying to pace myself out, but I'm really looking forward to exploring the characters more, getting to know the magic more, the world, all of the unique cities and places that we will visit. Like, I just can't wait to see how Robert Jordan expands on the stuff that we learned in this first book, because I just know for a fact that this world is going to get so big, so out of control, but in a good way, and I'm really looking forward to it. So if you want to see my future thoughts on the other books, please subscribe. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, it means a lot. And if you're going to leave any comments, please don't do any spoilers for the rest of the series. And that is it. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video.